with fits, it's this whole different level of intimacy because you have to take those extra steps and that extra time and really get to understand the thoughts that are going on in your dog's head. If you can't read their body language, if you can't see around the initial fear and reaction, you're not going to make progress with them. Do you ever feel like you're doing everything right and still not getting anywhere with your dog? I get it because I've been there. If your dog is reactive, anxious, or just constantly on, you're not alone and you're not failing. I help overwhelmed pet parents create calmer homes, safer routines, and better communication without harsh tools, rigid timelines, or judgment. Tap the link in the description to book a free training consult with me. Let's talk about your dog, your goals, and what's actually going to help you both move forward. Welcome to Straight Up Dog Talk, the judgment-free podcast where we get real about behavior, connection, nutrition, and the messy middle of dog life. If you're raising a reactive, anxious, or misunderstood dog, you're not alone here. I'm your host, Em, trainer, canine nutritionist, and lifelong advocate for big feeling dogs. Let's get into it. Today, you're going to hear what real reactivity progress actually looks like behind the scenes, get honest about the emotional impact of having a misunderstood dog, learn how shifting your mindset can change everything for your dog and your life. And in today's episode, you'll learn how Cobia's life changed after realizing that Magic wasn't difficult. She was reactive and needed support. The emotional roller coaster of reactivity, self-blame, and finding the right kind of help. And why reactivity isn't a failure. It's an invitation to advocate, adapt, and reconnect. We have been working with Magic for several months now, and Magic has come such a long way that I thought it would be a really great opportunity to bring Cobia on and talk about all of the things that she has learned and what living with a big feeling dog is like, because a lot of people get lost in my dog is reactive, my dog is emotionally unsound, or this is not okay. And they forget that having the feelings about our mental wellness and our dog's mental wellness need to be totally separate, and our feelings are just as valid as our dogs. So we're going to break it down for you guys today. How are you doing today, Cobia?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy day. I've had a lot of errands. We recorded another podcast episode earlier. It's going to be a fun one. It's Pilots to the Rescue, which is a group that fly planes up and down the East Coast, and they rescue dogs who are in severe risk of euthanasia. It's going to be a really cool episode.
Yeah, they come here. I mean, it might not be that exact group, but yes, we do have pilots that come in for our shelter here in Colleton County in Walterboro, South Carolina. We have an airport here, and they fly in. People from the shelter take the dogs out to the airport and they fly them up like to places up in New England and areas up there.
Yep. It's very cool. And it's such a worthy cause. And it's really neat. I told Michael earlier today was that when you can combine two of your passions together and create such a beautiful outcome, it's just so cool. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about you, tell everybody a little bit about Magic. And the one thing that I want to make very clear here is that Magic is a golden retriever, guys. That is a breed of dog that a lot of people would be like, we don't get reactive golden retrievers. We, in fact, do get reactive golden retrievers.
Yes.
But because of the bias, people automatically think, oh, well, it must be a pit bull, or it must be a boxer, or maybe it's a German shepherd. It's not. She's not. So we're gonna chat about that.
Yeah. Well, my name is Cobia. I live in the low country of South Carolina, and Magic is I've lost count. Gosh, over my lifetime, more than 10 dogs. And she has by far is the most challenging, I would say. I got Magic at 6 weeks old from a breeder, and she was my everywhere dog. I took her with me everywhere we went. Of course, being young, she went places where didn't let her get down and walk around before she had her shots and all of that. But she went everywhere, rode in the car. We went to parks when she got a little bit older, went traveling. She was great. She was around 6 months old. She started showing signs of reactivity. And I had just started to take her to basic obedience classes to see if they would help with that. And I was told that, well, she's reactive. We'll do this on our own, away from other dogs, and see how she does, because she would start to bark at other dogs. She got scared of everything. She got to where she didn't even want to get in the car. When she got in the car, finally, she would not get out. And not knowing that it was an issue, so to speak, with her, I'd pick her up, take her out of the car, and take her into wherever we were going, and she would bark and bark and bark. And I'm just thinking, okay, well, she's reactive. I need to have her around other dogs. And of course, in my brain, I'm like, retrievers don't act like this. So there's got to be something wrong. She can't be barking and carrying on because they're the chillest, coolest dogs there are. We went through basic obedience. We went through advanced obedience. She passed both classes, but they told me then at the end of those classes that there was a possibility that she had a sound sensitivity because she would hear noises and would just stop and bark at them while we were in the class. So it was after then that we were already on Instagram, and a friend of mine, I was talking to her about my issues with Magic, and she mentioned you, Emily, and told me, hey, you ought to just talk to her and see if she can help. So that was the beginning of our love story. We have been together since August, September.
Yeah, I think September. I think that's right.
Sometime around in there. So yeah, we've been dealing with each other and with Magic for that long. And Magic's come a long way. She really has. I've learned a lot, with you helping me. One thing, desensitizing her to the leash. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize, some people just say, oh, you put your leash on your dog and you take off and you go walk. That's not the case. Some dogs jerk and twist and flop around like a fish out of water on the leash because they're scared of it. They don't understand what it is. These big feelings get in the way. That's what a reactive dog is. Reactive dog is not snarling and growling and trying to attack everybody. A reactive dog is a dog who has strong reactions to objects or people or other animals.
Or sounds.
Magic's case, yes, sounds definitely. In her case, the leash was a main one, the harness was one, and we did a lot of desensitizing exercises. Believe me when I tell you guys, this is not a quick fix. It takes months. And when you don't understand exactly what's going on, it's hard to pinpoint what it is. It's hard to know what to work on, what to focus on. And so you're trying all of these things, but you can only try them one at a time because you don't want to overwhelm their senses. Having a reactive dog is not, like you said, the pit bulls, the shepherds, which I have a shepherd, and he is reactive also, not to the point of Magic, but he is not going to attack everybody, but he's scared of things as well. So it's difficult. Magic is a little more challenging in the fact that it's hard to go anywhere with her because she won't get out of the car to walk in public. After a few times of visiting a place in the quiet, she'll eventually get out, but it's a process. I have to leave the door open and let her jump in and out and in and out and in and out. And that was another thing we had to do, was help desensitize her back to getting in the car because she was scared of getting in the car. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and it's not for the faint of heart. I promise you. You cannot just give up on a dog. You can't get the dog and the dog not be what you expected, anticipated, and just take the dog to the shelter. Oh, I can't have this dog. This dog's reactive. I can't do anything with it. It doesn't listen. It doesn't work that way. Those are your babies. You get them and you change your life. At least I have changed my life to accommodate hers, to make her life easier, to make her life simpler. And in a way, it's good. She slowed my life down. And that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah, it's wild because I remember the first videos that you sent me, and your goal was to get her to stop yanking you up and down the stairs. You guys, she was like a little lightning bolt. She would just poof, and they have these stairs that are their house is on stilts. So their stairs are so tall, and Magic would just bolt up those stairs and just drag Cobia up the stairs with her. I'm surprised you didn't have a broken bone from the way she was yanking you. She would just be like, we're done. I'm over. This is it. We're going inside. And it was just like sheer panic on her face.
Yeah.
And you guys would just go. And then the leash was definitely a challenge for her. I think that it's so funny when people are surprised that dogs are reactive to leashes, because we do just assume that we can tie this thing around their neck and go wherever we want. But if you think about
a dog's natural instincts, that is an unnatural to be caged, to be tied down, to be restrained. That's completely unnatural for
Right.
them. It's not part of their genetic makeup. That's something that as humans, we decided we were going to add this element to help keep them by our sides and keep them from running away. And when that fight or flight mode kicks in, it's a restriction. And so then now we're yanking on the leash, we're attacking the leash. And Magic, I think, is probably one of the funniest dogs I've ever seen, because she working with Cobia and out in the driveway, and she sends me this video, and Magic is just attacking the leash and shaking the leash and pulling Cobia towards her and down. Cobia is just swearing up a storm, and they're just like going back. It was like they had this little argument between the two of them. And I remember you didn't think it was very funny at the time, but I was
No.
like, look, you got to learn to laugh at this kind of stuff, because that is her expressing frustration. That's you expressing frustration. And you guys have got to find some common ground here. And you did. You did. It happened, I think, a lot faster than you thought it was going to, because she really was quite resistant to it at first. But when she warmed up, golly, she does have a very mild mannered personality, and she is pretty go with the flow when she's comfortable with something. But boy, you give her reason to be scared, and she will be scared.
Yeah. And I mean, even still, I can't take her walking in public. And she has just in the last, what, probably 2.5 months, gotten to where she will walk down our dirt road. We started, and here's the thing, when you start with training with your dog, you throw everything out the window that you thought you knew, and you start from square one, you start from the basics. It's like Emily told me, there is a method to this madness. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. And we started from square one, ground zero, as if she knew nothing. And that's where we had to start to build up to where we are. Small in the living room. We were able to move here to the back porch, move out to the front yard. From the front yard, we went on the concrete. Then we went a little bit further on the concrete. We went around the driveway, into the grass, then a little bit out onto the road. And boy, she didn't like the road. But now that's where we take our evening walks. Or, well, we take 2 walks a day. We'll do a walk in the morning, we'll walk in the evening, and we'll go down the dirt road. And she loves it. Her tail is up. She's just exploring. She's jumping up and down. We live in the country, so we got woods around us. She's jumping up and down the ditches into the woods, and she loves it. She has a blast doing it. Would she have done this 3 months ago? No, no way. So it is a slow process, but you have to follow the process for it to work.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that there are things that Magic did really fast, and there are things that Magic did really slow. And it was all about just finding those moments for her in which she was really successful and really heavily playing on those things. We learned 2 things about Magic on the dirt road, and that was she likes to eat cat poop and she likes to eat dead frogs.
Yes, yes. She finally has leave the frogs alone. Thank goodness. She likes to chase them around the backyard, and I would tell her, be easy. They're babies, be easy. And she'll just paw at them because she realized they taste pretty nasty. But the cat poop, oh, that's something we're working on. I don't know that you could ever get that want for eating the cat poop out of a dog. But we have neighbors who have some cats, and I mean, they roam free on the dirt road. They just make up and down the dirt road their little potty area, and Maggie finds them.
Little treasures. Toby looks for little treasures in the yard too. Mystery meat.
Yeah.
So gross. Oh my gosh. Well, tell everybody, what is the biggest lesson that Magic has taught you?
Slow down. My mother had told me that if they diagnosed people with ADD back when I was little, that they would have said, you've got ADD. So I know I've got adult ADD. I go from one thing to another without finishing it, and I'm over here doing this, and, oh, well, wait, I need to go do this. And having Magic has made me realize that all of this stuff is not so important, that I need to slow down, take everything in, and go at a much slower pace. And that was like when we first started with training with her. I thought, oh, she's not picking this up. Why is she not doing this? Shouldn't she be doing this by now? Emily, shouldn't she be doing? And you're like, no, she would do it on her time. She would do it at Magic's pace. So I had to learn to slow down, and in doing so, enjoying things a lot more. It's makes a big, big difference.
It's funny too, because those little moments that you don't even realize that you're missing, right? Because you're so wrapped up in being frustrated with them that you shut down the ability to actually have a real connection with them, because you're too tied up in the what ifs and should I's and can't they and all of that. And then when you slow down and you start adding in those little tiny rewards and those little moments of happiness, you realize how much stronger that bond is with your dog. I've told this story so many times. Cajun, I thought, was my heart dog. He was my first dog. He was perfect. He was an angel. He never did anything wrong. He was such a good dog. And I will love him for the rest of my life. I didn't think that I would ever, ever, ever have another dog that compared to him. But Fitz proved me so wrong in that aspect, because I have not ever gotten so mad in my entire life, or so frustrated, or cried so many tears, or wanted to rip my hair out more than I have with Fitz. And yet at the same time, he does something so dumb. Like when I throw his ball, if he misses it and it goes underneath him, he does this weird like shuffle backwards thing, and he gets really low to the ground, and he looks almost kind of like contortionist or something. And yeah, he looks so funny. And I just laughed so hard at him the other day when he did it. And I said to him, "You are such a weirdo. You are just such a weird dog." And he makes me laugh so hard. But those moments before, I would have never seen those sides of him or appreciated those moments in him, because he was too wound up like a top and I was too frustrated with him. It's all about finding the right language for you and your dog and figuring out where that "I understand you" is at. And Magic was a tricky one, man. She really was a tricky one, because we tried so many things with her in the beginning. Like you said, you were like, "Shouldn't she? Why aren't we?" And I was like, we have to figure it out first.
Yeah.
We have to figure out what the thing is. Sometimes it was about the treat. Sometimes it was about the activity. Sometimes it was about where we were. She really did. I mean, she would shut down when you would put her in the car. And so to see her thriving and doing things with you now, like going to the cemetery, or I'm going to let you tell about her adventure over Memorial Day weekend, because that was a huge win for you guys. Like,
it was
huge win. So it's finding the ability to slow down, take those moments in, and take stock of everything that you're doing, and really just puzzle the pieces together. And sometimes you got to take the puzzle back apart, and you really have done that. You've really stuck with it. You've really grounded your attention and your relationship with her, and forced your way through to her, and she really has been receptive. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the trip that you guys took over Memorial Day weekend?
Back up a second. You mentioned the cemetery. People are probably thinking,
the cemetery.
"What? You go hang out in the cemetery?" Okay, so Magic has a sound sensitivity as well. And I was thinking, what better place, what quieter place to take her to walk than in a cemetery? Now, of course,
great place.
cemetery is close. The first one I went to was very close to traffic. So she would walk, but she would hear the trucks coming by, and she would just stop and be like, "Okay, I'm done. I'm pulling you back to the car. I'm done." So I thought, well, we'll go to the cemetery down here near me. I'm out in the country, very quiet. Occasional cars ride by. So we took her to that cemetery, and she loves it. She will get out of the car now. She is exploring all over that cemetery, finding trails in the woods that we go. When Emily said we go down we go to the cemetery, we go for the quiet peacefulness, for Magic to be able to walk, not just to go hang out and do seances in the cemetery.
I mean, whatever works.
Memorial Day weekend, we go to the beach every year. We go to Tybee Island, which is in Georgia, and they are not dog friendly as far as their beaches go. Dogs can go all over the island, but they don't allow dogs on the beach at all. So last year when we went, we rented a beach house with a pool. First time Magic had been in a big pool. She loved it. This year, when we were going to go, I said, "Okay, we're getting another pool." So we rented another house that had a pool, mainly for my dog to be able to swim. This thing decides she's going to just jump in and dive like she was practicing to be a dock dog. I mean, she's jumping and she's jumping and she's jumping. And we had to be careful because we take our grandchildren with us. And one of our granddaughters likes to do handstands in the water. Well, Magic sees her under the water, and she decides, "I'm jumping on her." And so she dives right on top of her. And that was her first jump into this pool. So she dove over and over and over. She loved it. She loved it. She really came out of herself, and she loved it. Tried to get her to walk outside. Normally, put your leash on your dog, go walk out front, take a walk around the block, come back. No, not Magic. got Magic outside. She didn't want to leave the yard. She didn't want to leave from beside the car. She wanted to go back in the fence. So I coaxed her a little bit to stay out in the yard. Well, then a dog was coming. And it was an older dog, luckily, so it wasn't one that was bounding around and barking at her. And I told the gentleman, yeah, nah, she's got anxiety. She's still in training. She's liable to bark it. And he goes, that's okay. He said, we'll just walk on by. And I'm thinking, thank you, mister. Not somebody who is, oh, my dog's friendly. He'll be fine. He was, I'll walk on by and we won't stop. Well, his dog decided she wanted to come over and visit. And Magic wasn't barking, wasn't trying to lunge at the dog. She was excited that the dog was coming up. And so she got to meet the dog. The dog's name was Chloe. She was an older yellow lab. And Magic wanted to start playing with her. And she's, pouncing around a little bit like that puppy pounce. But then she got a little frustrated because she was on her harness. She was on her leash and she couldn't get to the dog like she wanted. So then she started wanting to bark and to pull. But I had her come and she sat beside me and she did great. She did wonderful. The dog went on the way. We went back in the house and she was good. While we were going home, we had a huge win. Magic doesn't like to have the windows down anytime she's in the car. She doesn't like the noise of the window rolling down. So I've tried a little bit in riding around our driveway. We have a horseshoe driveway. So I've ridden around the driveway, rolled the window down a little bit, rolled the window up, just practicing, letting her hear the noise. And we got into Savannah coming home and we were going through the back roads and lots of stoplights and oak trees over real shaded, quiet. And I thought, well, let me give it a try because she's sitting up looking out the window, which she normally doesn't even like to look out the window. She's flat on the seat. She's looking and seeing what's going on. Down the window, about this much, enough to let some breeze and some noise come in. She didn't shy away from the window. So we ride like that a little bit, and I said, let me try it. Put the window to where it was almost a little over halfway down. Now she was riding with her harness and her seatbelt on, so I wasn't worried about her getting antsy and diving out the window. So I had the window down, and she's listening to the sounds. She's got the breeze in her face. When we stopped at the stoplights, you could see her nose just a twitching, taking in all the new smells of the area we were at. It's the first time she's ever done it. Did my heart good. We rode like that for probably about 20 minutes or so before it was time for us to get onto the major highway to pick up speed. But yeah, she loved it. She loved it. And I couldn't wait till we got home. And I had my granddaughter sitting in the front seat. I said, take some pictures. You got to video some of this. I've got to send this to Emily as soon as we get back home. I mean, before I even unpacked, I'm sending this video to Emily so that she can see it. I'm like, look what she did. Look what she did. So it's the little things. It's some of the things that people take for granted because you see dogs all the time with their head out the window. They don't care bugs are slapping them in the face or not. They got the head out the window enjoying life. My dog can't do that. So when she did it without putting her head out the window, but she didn't shy away from the window either, that was the greatest feeling. She did something that normal dogs will do, and she did it and she enjoyed it. So puppy steps. Instead of baby steps, I say we take puppy steps to get her to where she needs to be. But yeah, it was a great win all the way around. It was wonderful.
That's really important to hit on that point that you just said, which was she can't do things that other dogs can do and that people take that for granted. I think that a lot of people don't realize when they get just a very mild manner, easygoing dog, how much they're missing out on, in my opinion, right? Because we have a dog that's just happy to go along and get along and all of that stuff. They're great. You have an investment with them. It's wonderful relationship. But like I said, I had that with Cajun. We had a great relationship, but with Fitz, it's like this whole different level of intimacy because you have to take those extra steps and that extra time and really get to understand the thoughts that are going on in your dog's head. Because if you can't read their body language, if you can't see around the initial fear and reaction, you're not going to make progress with them. And that's where I think a lot of people just don't understand. Like you said, they just take the dog to the rescue and it's over with. People don't value the life of things or the time and consistency and energy and patience and commitment that you give to a dog, that you're supposed to give to a dog. And they just go, oh, well, this isn't working, on to the next. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that is a living being's life that you just put into danger because you decided you didn't have time for that. And
Exactly.
that just blows my mind. I don't understand it.
I don't know if the listeners can hear the wind chimes behind me every now and then, but even that was something that scared Magic. And I love wind chimes. I have wind chimes on the front porch, I have wind chimes in the back here. And Magic was scared of the wind chimes. She was scared of the noise that they made until I picked her up and let her see it. And I touched it just to show her this isn't going to hurt you. Not that she understood what I was saying, but in her way, I guess that she did, because after a while, she got to where they don't bother her now. We've got a couch sitting over here that Magic has always laid on forever. And she'll lay right there on the couch and just we'll sit back here and chill. And she'll listen to the wind chimes now. She likes them now, thank goodness. But yeah, simple as that. Wind chimes she was scared of.
Sometimes it is just about showing them and letting them interact with it and sniff it and go, oh, that's the thing that's making that noise that I wasn't sure about. There are things that we can do that ease our dogs' fears and their scaries, I guess, as we call them in this house. They're little scaries. We see things, we hear things, we do things. And a lot of times we just have to sit and watch things and interact with things in order to get past that initial scary. Are there always going to be things that Magic probably reacts to? I'm sure there are. Fitz too. Motorcycles are the one thing that no matter how many times we do something, that motorcycle backfires and both of my dogs are barking and running or whatever. But I also get that because it's loud and it's sudden and it's intermittent, right? You don't ever really know when the motorcycle's going to come. And so you can desensitize to something like that. But because it's so intermittent, that makes it harder because it can just bang out of nowhere. And
Right.
that's kind of scary. I get that. I do get that.
Yeah.
What do you think the hardest part about overcoming Magic's fears has been?
That's hard. I'll be brutally honest. My own frustration. People don't like to admit when they get mad at their dog, when they yell at their dog, when they stop it and don't do that anymore. Especially when your dog is reactive to something and you're not understanding why. And you think that they're not supposed to be that way. The hardest thing has been to admit I can't get frustrated with her because she can't help what she's doing. Like I said, I've had, God, 10, 12 dogs in my life, if not more. Never have I had to deal with a dog who is as sensitive as she is. So it took me a while to realize she can't help it. She's not being stubborn. Dogs are not openly just stubborn and want to piss you off just right from the get-go. They don't think that way. It took a while for me to realize it's okay for me to be upset, but the more that I am getting upset and frustrated at her, is true. And they say things travel down the leash. They travel down the leash. Because like you said, our arguments that we would have when she's grabbing at the leash, she's yanking. And instead of me just saying, come on, let's go back in the house, and trying to lure her with treats back into the house. And back then that was when she wouldn't take a treat at all. But I would fight with her and argue with her like she knew what I was saying and I could win her over. No, a lot of the times it was pick her little golden butt up and carry her in the house because she wasn't going to move without attacking me. And I've got the scars and the scratches to prove it. So yeah, the frustration, admitting and curbing the frustration has been the hardest part. And even now I have to sometimes just stop and count to 5. Let's breathe in, breathe out. We'll put this away. We'll do it another day and just call it quits.
I remember the first time that you guys got into one of those little tug of war situations. And I said to you, don't tug back. Drop the leash. Just wait for her to stop because when you're tugging on the leash now, she's like, oh, this is a game. And she's getting some kind of reward out of the fact that she's misbehaving in a way that we don't want her to. And you were like, that's not going to work. And I said, well, it might not, but we need to see if it's going
Need to give it a try. And it worked. It worked.
And it worked.
My goodness, it worked.
She was like, oh, well, this isn't fun anymore. And she would trot right after you into the house.
Yeah.
She just cracks me up. Her and her lizards, too. I think that's probably about one of the funniest things that I have ever seen. Magic and her lizards. That was probably one of the scarier parts about working on the stairs is because we never knew when those lizards were going to come out.
Yes.
But we made it.
Oh, those things pop out every now and then still. Luckily now she listens when I tell her to wait. instead of darting off after the lizard. Sometimes I don't catch it and she darts a little faster than I'm ready for. But yes, this thing loves lizards. We have a ramp. Like we said earlier, my house is built up on stilts like a beach house. And I had a 12-and-a-half-year-old black lab named Willow. And Willow got to where she couldn't walk very well. She had arthritis in her hips. She had some tumor issues. So to make it easier for her, we put in a wheelchair ramp. Not an easy feat whenever your house is built up on stilts. So we've got twists and turns in it. But Magic decided that's where she wanted to hunt the lizards because she saw one. So yeah, the wheelchair ramp is now Magic's racetrack for chasing the lizards. She still loves those things, but the
Better on
ramp
her
is,
joints, though. I mean,
yeah, better for my knees.
yeah, it's better for
And
everybody's
that came
knees.
out handy because she used to run and race up the stairs. And when we started coming in from outside, out the back, I would tell her ramp and lead her that direction so that she would realize, okay, we're not going to go up the stairs. This is called a ramp. Let's go. And I started trying to get her to take Willow up the ramp. And that's what I would tell her, take Willow up the ramp so that Willow wouldn't try to go up the stairs and then get stuck and fall, or we have to lift her up to bring her. So Magic had just started getting to where she would take Willow up the ramp and she would stop and make sure Willow was following her. And then we ended up having to have her put down because she just got to where she couldn't get up and do anything at all. The ramp is handy, like you said. It's good for her joints. It's good on my knees. And I will still tell her if she goes to head up the stairs, sometimes I'll just say ramp and she'll hop off and she'll go right up the ramp. So it's funny how they pick up certain words and know exactly what it is.
Yeah, she really does. She is a quick little thing. She
She's good.
definitely picks up words and tricks and all kinds of things very, very quickly, very, very easily. And she is very willing to please. She wants to make you happy and proud. And there's so many videos where she'll do something and then she'll double check to make sure that she's doing, and then she'll do it again. And she gets so excited when you reward her and get excited with her. And it's really fun to see how much your relationship has changed and how much the two of you have really complemented each other in so many ways. That's probably the coolest thing about working with dogs and people, is that you get to just see this relationship between the two of them just blossom. There was a lot of tension in the beginning and you guys were very stressed out by each other, and now you guys understand each other and you look for feedback in each other and those check-ins and her taking treats and just all kinds of various other things. It's just really, really cool to see it. If you could give somebody with a new dog one piece of advice, what would it be?
Listen to your dog. I said I wasn't going to do this. Your dog will tell you so much more than you think. In one look, in one movement, they will speak a whole paragraph to you in that 1 second. But you've got to be willing to listen to what they're saying. Not what you want to hear, but what they're actually saying to you. And that's what I had to do with Magic. I had to slow down and listen to what she was telling me. Mom, I can't do this. When I was telling you can do this. Come on, we can do this. Why are you not doing it? And she was telling me, I can't. I need you to slow down, Mom, because I can't do it. So yeah, that's listen to your baby. They will tell you what they need.
That's a really important message, because I keep seeing this quote pop up all over Instagram, and it says, "What if dogs can't speak because we needed to learn how to communicate without words?" And every time I see that, I'm like, "Oh, stop!"
Yeah.
I can't with that, because it's a
Boy.
whole love language with dogs, right? They can't look at us and say, "I need this, I want this, I don't understand, I can't, I'm struggling, I love you." They can't say any of those things to us. But if you just look at your dog, at their body, at their ears, at their mouth, at their eyes, at their tail, you can see so much more, because they truly are the masters of body language. It just flows so naturally out of them. And if we just take a little bit of time to investigate that, we can learn so much about our dogs and ourselves in those moments.
And and don't expect too much too soon. If you want a yard dog just to run around and, oh yeah, hey, here you are, play with you a little bit, that's it. That's fine. But if you want your companion, you have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort. Even if you are going through training with your dog, The trainer is not the one who's handling your dog all the time. If it's virtual, you're not putting your hands on my dog at all because we're not here. If it is in person, you've got an hour a week. You have to bond with your dog. You have to speak to your dog in their language and listen to them. You have to take that time to put in that effort with your dog. If you want the dog to understand you and respect you, you have to give them understanding and respect as well. And you've got to put in the time. And it's easy to do. It doesn't take hours a day. It could be 3-4 minutes here, 3-4 minutes there. It's not going to take much out of your life of what else ever you've got to do. Your dog needs you.
Absolutely. If there was one thing about Magic that you could remember and take with you to the next dog, I know you've said you're not going to get another dog, but if you were to get another dog, what would be the life lesson Magic gave you that you would apply to the next dog to make it better for that dog?
I keep coming back to these two things: to listen and to slow down. You see these sayings on Instagram pop up, and they're with you 12 summers, and you need to let them have as much enjoyment out of that time as you can. So slow down, show them things, teach them things, be patient. That's what I would do, more of that from the get-go than just thinking, "Oh, here we go, we're going to go to the store, we're going to go to the park, and we're going to hop in the car, we're going to go here, and we're going to go there." And then just all of a sudden the rug's ripped out from under me, and I couldn't do all of these things. I was moving at a faster pace than what she even realized she couldn't do, until she put the brakes on and was like, "I ain't doing this, Mom. I can't." So yeah, life lesson: slow it down. Slow me down and slow down with another dog.
Again, it's those small moments, right? And taking those small moments for granted is where you miss the biggest things. It has been quite a journey with you guys, and I can't wait to continue watching Magic grow and learn and just blossom into the dog that she is meant to be. And I know that it's changing you as a person, and I know that it's changing her as a dog, and that you guys are just going to have such a beautiful relationship over your next 12 summers, hopefully more. But in the end, what would you like to leave the listeners with?
Do your research. Don't just get a dog because you think that dog, like with the golden retriever, that they're chill, they're, the easiest going dog there is. That's not the case with every single golden. It's not the case with every dog. Whether you go to a shelter to get your dog, whether you get your dog from a breeder, do your research. Do your research on that particular dog. Do your research on the shelter. Do your research on that breeder. Shelters and breeders, sometimes none of them are ethical. If you're looking at one, you're looking at this other. You got shady places everywhere. Do your research before you bring an animal home that you're not going to bond with, that you're not going to be able to handle. Comes down to research. I had a golden before, but I didn't know she was going to be this sensitive. That's not something that you can know right off. But as far as for bringing a pet into your home, do your research. Don't just get the dog because you think it is a cute dog, or, "Oh, well, I want the German Shepherd because he's big and mean and people will be scared of him." That's a lot of dog for anybody to handle if you don't know how to handle that dog. So yeah, that's what I would like to leave the listeners with. Do your research.
A lot of people jump into that initial, "I'm going to get a dog," without a lot of forethought. It's an instant gratification thing. It's become something that happens too quickly without any research, any real understanding of what a commitment to a dog looks like and bettering the life of the dog, right? So again,
Yeah.
whether you get your dog from a breeder or you get your dog from a rescue, make sure you're doing your research. Make sure that you have the appropriate time and energy and bandwidth, mental, emotional bandwidth,
Yes.
to give to that dog, because you don't know what you're going to get. Every dog is different, and that is the most important thing about your relationship with the dog. If you guys want to check out Magic and her journeys, you can find her at Magic the Golden Retriever on Instagram. I believe you guys are on TikTok too, right?
Yes, we are on TikTok.
If you have any questions or you just need to talk to somebody about the rough day that you had with your dog, Kobe and I are always here to talk with you about those things. Don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions, and commiserate. Do your research, love those puppies, and we'll see you next week on Straight Up Dog Talk.
If something in today's episode hit home, maybe it's time to stop Googling and start getting real help. I work with pet parents virtually all over the world, especially those with big feeling dogs who are misunderstood, labeled reactive, or struggling. Whether you're starting over or just stuck in survival mode, you deserve support that actually fits you. Book a free consult using the link in the description and let's figure out your next best steps together.